iconic UK roller coaster seems to have a huge issue and has completely broken, which could mean a refurbishment is on its way sooner than we thought. A huge theme park in America is set to close forever and only has a matter of days left. Damn. I feel like we've come full circle. And various announcements are going to be made at an event in Orlando very soon, some of which are very exciting and others are very weird. It's been a busy week because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Yes, welcome back to the series that approximately 3 people dance to every time the intro plays. This past week in theme parks, where I go through and analyse all the news at theme parks in the past week. And boy, do I have some big news for you today. So as always, if you do want to skip to specific stories, be sure to use the video progress bar chapters below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. These videos do take quite a while to make and research each week, so any support like subscribing would be massively appreciated. And pushing all that aside, as much as there is some big news stories and also a lot of news in this episode, a quick fire segment is not required this time out. Yes, I know, such a shame, so much of a shame that I'm going to do it anyway. So let's go! First off, starting in Europe, and we're going to quickly travel there. Ready? You're not even going to see this. I told you didn't even see it. With Parc Asterix, which last week revealed a brand new multi-dimension coaster themed to London, with potential on-ride audio with voice lines such as "In It Bruv" and "Want a pint?" More high-quality concept images have been released by Intamin, showing that the coaster does not in fact have a 2-car train and only has a 1-car train. Which is a shame, because I thought that was quite cool, but then again I was wrong on this past week in theme parks, which never happens, by the way. The brand new Disneyland Paris Adventure World and the Frozen World inside of it should have the opening days announced on the 24th of November. It's not going to open on that date, but they're going to announce when it will open in the future on that date. So mark it down in your calendars as not so important, but still important. But don't even worry about doing that, because I'm going to cover it on this series anyway. Along with Europa Park in Germany, their brand new Euromir refurbishment, Neuromir, as we'll call it. New information has come out about that from Roland Mack, saying that the coaster will be replaced in time for the 2028 season. And Roland did confirm that the new coaster will be family friendly, not a Mack Extreme spinner. No! I mean, it makes sense considering you've just got Voltron, but imagine Voltron and a Mack Extreme Spinner in the same park. It would be the best 1-2 lineup of all time. But yeah, it's going to be family friendly, so it'll be good, but don't get your hopes up too high. Six Flags Qiddiya, that is not in Europe and in Asia, so ignore me for a second, has had the brand new entrance sign for it revealed. Look at that. That is quite a statement of an entrance sign. It's going to be very exciting to see those reactions of Falcon's flight start to come in. If you've ever heard of the roller coaster database website RCDB, they posted this image of a coaster somewhere in the world. Lo and behold, someone will stand right next to it and see the big tree and still go, will this ride open today? And this isn't really theme park news, this is more like plane news. But it's quite useful to know, and we're also going to travel using this flight in just a second. You can now get direct flights from Madrid, Spain to Orlando, Florida. Wow! Who up and wants to go to Park Warner Madrid to ride the European Velocicoaster and then fly directly to Velocicoaster? I'm down for that road trip. But we're going to take this flight over to Orlando in America because there is something big happening very soon there. And that is IAPPA Expo, the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. I had to search that up because ain't no way I'm remembering that. They did have one in Barcelona earlier this year, but the big one is always in Orlando. And as always, the schedule for that event has come out and we basically know everything that's going to be presented and talked about. It is time to read these to you. I've got these on the wrong way around. There'll be many presentations and reveals for things that we already know, such as the new Dollywood coaster, the brand new Vekoma project at SeaWorld, the Phantom Theatre reboot at Kings Island, and the Legoland Galacta coasters at California and Florida parks. Please bring one to Windsor. B&M and Six Flags Over Texas are also going to be revealing the front lead cart for Tormenta's Rampaging run. DOF Robotics are revealing a new secret product called Dark Ride, innovative name. Zamperla and Morgan's Wonderland are going to be introducing the world's first wheelchair-accessible tower ride. That is great to hear. Storyland Studios are revealing Nateland, a theme park by comedian Nate Bargatze. What? Whitewater are presenting newest innovations. Magic Jump Inc. are presenting a new Sonic the Hedgehog inflatable attraction. That is a weird one, I must say. And probably the biggest one out of all of these, the fact that RMC are revealing a big new roller coaster to a new park. Now, this could be a new hybrid coaster, which would be normal, but we could also see a brand new Raptor model. We could also see the first T-Rex model, or it could be such a big investment of the Wild Moose model that we saw ages ago.
Or it could be RMC 2020 at Thorpe Park, guys.
All of it sounds pretty good, and I'm sure there'll be more stuff in between that we'll find out nearer the time. According to a Reddit user, Pantherian at King's Dominion has finally reopened. That is now back up and running. Travis Kelce has invested in Six Flags, although I wouldn't be surprised if the amount he invested gets surpassed by the amount of Taylor Swift fans that are now going to visit Six Flags parks. And I'm not going to talk about it too much on this episode, but rather in the next. But the huge theme park of Six Flags America is set to close at the end of this week and only has a matter of days left in its operational hours, which is really sad to see. Of course, there's so many different rides there that are now going to be just demolished or left to rot, and it's very sad, but hopefully it has a good send-off coming later this week. And I'm still annoyed because they told us about that closing so far in advance, but not the world's tallest roller coaster, and the fact that was closing. Still fuming even a year on. But that is the quick fire segment complete, and now all that's left to go through is the longer stories coming out of here in the UK, some of which are very exciting and a lot of which are very worrying. Yet again, it's not been a good week for the UK. With first of all, the Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, two very famous wooden roller coasters. The weather has been so bad recently that the exit for that ride flooded, meaning no one could ride the thing, which I hope they rectified ASAP. Hyperia at Thorpe Park was not sparking last week. Supposedly, upon checks, it was just reflections of light. So again, I was wrong. I told you we always report facts on this series, as I did last week with Speed at Oakwood and the fact that was being removed. Seemed like a lot of people in the comments were sort of doubting that that was happening. Well, here's some images for you to show you that it is happening, and also I'm going to tell you about the current rumour that is the fact it will be moving to another park in France. Walligator Southwest, that is going to be, or Sud-Ouest. Where's that is the rumour for where this coaster is going, because they haven't really been destroying it. They've more been just sort of taking it apart piece by piece, which I think shows you that it's going to be moved, not destroyed. But yeah, that's happening. A brand new promotional image has been released for Valgard coming to Paultons Park, where we can get our first sort of look at the train design mainly, as you can see in the top right. Not exactly the most high quality image, but it'll do. And there's been a lot of different articles from Merlin Entertainments that are very worrying to read, with the fact that their credit rating has been further downgraded due to underinvestment and tired, less relevant assets. The CEO also said that the biggest competition that they have is screen time at home, which could be considered a valid statement if it wasn't for the other things in the entertainment industry going up in attendance, whilst some of the Merlin parks just seem to be going down in attendance. But I don't think it's the problem of people staying home. I think it's more the fact that they've cut so much stuff from these parks that no one wants to go to your attraction. Because what's also quite worrying is, I probably should have mentioned this earlier when I was speaking about Europe, but I completely forgot. The 2024 TEA, or T, attendance numbers for theme parks across Europe, that chart is finally out, and as you can see, it sort of shows you the attendance in thousands, and per theme park also shows you the percentage change from 2023 to 2024. And of course you can look at the different parks. Europa has gone up 3%, probably because of Voltron. The Disney parks in Paris have gone down 2%, but that's probably because of the Olympics, which sort of makes sense. But the theme parks here in the UK, how did they do? Well, Legoland Windsor went up 1.2%, which isn't too bad. I believe that probably is because of Minifigure Speedway, but still pretty alright. Alton Towers went up 6.4%, which is good to see. But Thorpe Park, which is supposed to be one of our big hitters here in the UK, despite opening the UK's tallest and fastest coaster in Hyperia, went down 8% on attendance. And the worry isn't, oh, you know, Hyperia had all those issues, maybe people would care about that and that's why they didn't go. I don't think it's that. I think the worry here is, if Hyperia wasn't built and opened in 2024, how much more would that percentage loss have been? And that is really worrying, especially when 2025, this year, there hasn't been much investment across any of the parks other than Toxicator at Towers. Who's to say that the attendance from 2024 to 25 isn't already falling? as we speak. And I do genuinely think that a lot of these Merlin theme parks, especially Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, at some point will be sold. I don't know who it will go to or when it will happen, but I would not be surprised if they get sold in the next year or so, and hopefully to better owners than Merlin. And speaking of, the top 20 theme parks in Europe didn't even include Chessington World of Adventures, which is currently building the Paw Patrol land. And of course, last week we had the supports delivered to the site. All that brand new Paw Patrol coaster, now we have track delivered as well. Wow, isn't it very red? And the supports are very blue. That is going to be a very striking colour scheme. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that go up very, very soon. But something has happened at Chessington that may actually make those plans a little bit scuppered. They might mess those plans up slightly, because Vampire, the arrow suspended coaster, which I think is the oldest one in the park, has had its fair share of problems over the years, but you know, they've been rectified quite easily. They've been open in a few days. Not this time, because a huge issue has clearly happened where the ride is now just broken. I guess you could say it broke. Break. Gotta pull that one out the archives. But obviously there is no information on what has actually happened to Vampire, but it has now been listed on their maintenance page saying that it's temporarily closed for maintenance. Not planned maintenance like it says for some other things on there, just full-blown maintenance, which definitely means it was unplanned. I mean, it literally says on a sign outside of it, this ride is currently undergoing a health check. That don't sound good. And to make things even worse, it has also been removed from the Winter's Tale list of rides that were going to be open, because I believe it was originally on there and now it's not, which is not great. I would not be surprised if this is something to do with either the trains themselves or some sort of lift mechanism on one of the two lifts, because it seems like those are the most issue-prone parts of the ride. And depending on what has happened, which is clearly something major and unplanned, if a huge investment needs to be made in repairing it, is it now time to push back some other projects and make a big statement with the refurbishment of Vampire, or Vampire Reborn, as they could call it? Very original, that. I don't know, I don't think they would push back Paw Patrol, of course, because they're already halfway through making that, so that will still open next year. But is there a chance that they'll push back Minecraft and focus on Vampire earlier to get it back to its actual working state? I think it is possible. But who am I to know? I am just the presenter of This Past Week in Theme Parks, the most awesome news series in existence, and it's so factual and real. It's unbelievable. I'll continuously update you on Vampire and everything else that I've mentioned today, if you subscribe, because if you don't, then you're going to miss the future episodes of this series. You better subscribe. See you next time.